never change, this is Jay every day. I never change, this is Jay every day. Never change, this is Jay. I am a rock representer.
What are your thoughts right now?
Dubs in the chat, baby. We building this shit. Everybody see what's going on. We playing with confidence. We got a young squad. They ain't scared of nobody, and we coming out here showing what we got.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. And after many people expecting them to be one of the worst teams in the WNBA, the Washington Mystics have proven everyone wrong as they've compiled a 14-12 record during the first half of the season, good for 8th place in the WNBA standings. And the Washington Mystics are young, they're ready, and they're here to stay. And their journey to get here has been remarkable because in 2022, they went through a major transition period in their franchise as legendary coach Mike Thibault announced his retirement, and they promoted his son Eric Thibault to be their new head coach. But unfortunately, he was unable to replicate the success that his father had as he compiled a 33-47 record in 2 seasons. And after the conclusion of the 2024 season, the Washington Mystics elected to fire him. And during this time, they will also lose a number of their veteran players that helped contribute to their success in 2019, 2020, and 2021, as they will lose Elena Deladon to retirement. They will lose Natasha Cloud, Maisha Hines-Allen, and Tiana Hawkins to free agency. And then last year, they elected to trade Ariel Atkins to the Chicago Sky. And so at this point, it appeared as if the Washington Mystics did not have a clear direction of how they were going to move their franchise forward because they did not have a head coach in place and they did not have any young players outside of Shakira Austin they can build around. And y'all, that's the worst place to be in when you're entering a rebuild. You want to have a coach in place that you feel great about. You want to have young players in place that you feel great about so you can really, build your franchise and move it forward. But at this point, the Mystics did not have a coach in place. And again, outside of Shakira Austin, they did not have any young players they can build around it. So it just seemed as if they were a lost franchise that was stuck in limbo, y'all. But then in 2025, they would absolutely turn things around as they hired Sydney Johnson, y'all. And so far, although he's still very early on in his tenure, that has been an amazing hire for them, y'all, because Sydney Johnson has done an incredible job with this team. I mean, you just think about the young talent that's on this team, y'all, and the way he's been able to mature them so far during this season has been incredible to see. But then also, y'all, you want to have young players that you feel great about, that you can build around. And you look at last year when they trade away Ariel Atkins, they end up being a blessing in disguise. I know a lot of Mystics fans were upset about that because she had been a great player for them for 5 years. But that was a blessing in disguise, y'all, because they were able to acquire the 3rd overall pick in that trade for her, which ended up becoming Sonia Citron, y'all. And then with the 4th pick in last year's draft, they selected Kiki Iriafen. And so in the same draft, they were able to get 2-star players, y'all, that are now the faces of their franchise and are going to be the faces of their franchise for years to come. And then this year, y'all, in the draft, they had another great draft, drafting Angela Dugalich, Lauren Betts, Rory Harmon, and Cody McMahon. And so you just look at the last 2 years, y'all, from where this franchise was in 2024. They didn't have a coach. They lost a lot of their, really good players to free agency and to trades and to retirement. And now 2 years later, y'all, they have a really good coach in place in Sydney Johnson. And just the collection of young talent that's on this team is absolutely incredible. And I want to start, y'all, with their big three of Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, and Shakira Austin. I think this is one of the more underrated big threes in the WNBA. And let's start with Sonia Citron. I mean, I'm just such a big fan of her game. Been a big fan of her game since her tenure at Notre Dame because she's just an elite two-way player who has a high basketball IQ. She's going to give you everything she has every single game. Love what she brings at that guard position. Then you have Kiki Iriafen, one of the most athletic players in the league, a tremendous finisher around the rim, has great defensive versatility. And then, y'all, Shakira Austin is a player that they drafted in 2022. The first 4 years of her career, she showed signs, of the player that she could become. But in her 5th year, y'all, Shakira Austin is finally putting it all together, averaging about 15 points and 10 rebounds per game. And Shakira has been one of the best defenders in the WNBA this season, absolutely dominant on both ends of the floor. This is the Shakira Austin that we've been waiting to see, y'all, and we've definitely seen it. from her this year. So again, the big three of she, Kiki Iriafen, and Sonia Citron, one of the most underrated big threes in the WNBA, and they've done a tremendous job of leading this franchise for y'all. And again, with Kiki and Sonia Citron, they're only in year 2, which means they're only going to continue to get better. But then outside of the big three they have, y'all, I love the role players that they have. You look at Michaela Onyenwere, who's actually the most experienced player on this team, and she's only 28 years old herself, but she's having a career year, averaging about 10 points, shooting over 40% from three. I think she's provided a lot of veteran leadership, although she's still young herself, but she's provided a lot of veteran leadership for this team. Love how she's playing defensively as well. And then you look at their draft picks from this year, y'all. Angela Dugalich, I think when she's got playing time, she's shown signs of being a really, great two-way player who has the potential to, be one of the better defenders in the league due to her incredible length, size, and athleticism that she has defensively. Then you look at Cody McMahon. Oh my goodness, I call Cody McMahon a bowling ball, y'all, because if she gets downhill, it is so hard to stop Cody McMahon. Love what she's done in terms of her athleticism, strength, and defensive ability. And then Lauren Best, y'all, who I think the last couple of weeks has really played some great basketball, dominating on both ends of the floor, in the interior and the paint, and also the interior defensively. And then you look at some of the other players, y'all, that have also got some minutes for them. You look at Elisa Flores, who has played pretty well for them. Rory Harmon, when she's got the minutes, I love what she's brought to them in terms of her vision and defensive ability. And then, y'all, Georgia Amore, who I think the last couple of games we're really starting to see Georgia Amore play like the Georgia Amore that she did at Virginia Tech and Kentucky. Obviously, last year she sustained that ACL injury, and I think early on in the season, she was still trying to get back into shape, y'all, but Georgia Amore is starting to come around. So when you look at this Mrs. team as a whole, I mean, I love the depth they have, the athleticism, and the defensive ability, y'all, and that is their identity. I mean, this is a defense first team, which is very rare because typically you don't see young players defend at this high level, y'all. Typically young players, they just want to score and shoot the ball, but the Mystics, they have this defensive identity about them, which I absolutely love that. And give credit to Sydney Johnson, just the way he has really been able to mature and progress these young players, y'all. And this team is absolutely dangerous. Make no mistake about it. I know they're young, and a lot of people thought that their lack of experience, their inexperience, was going to be the downfall of their team, y'all, but it's actually been a benefit for them because they're the youngest team in the WNBA, which means they have young legs. They can run, they can jump, they can defend. So I love what the Washington Mystics are doing, y'all. They're only going to continue to get better because this team is so young. And when you have young players ascend, y'all. Typically older players, they descend, but young players, they're going to ascend. They're only going to continue to get better, and that's what's going to happen for this Washington Mystics team. And I'm telling you, if they make the playoffs, which I believe they will, I don't care who y'all has that number 1 seed. If it's the Lynx, if it's the Aces, if it's the Valkyries, they're not going to want to play this Mystics team. I'm not saying the Mystics are going to, defeat those teams if they make it to the playoffs, but they would definitely give those teams a lot of headaches. I mean, just last night, they defeated the Las Vegas Aces, y'all. So this team is young, they're ready, they're here to stay, and they are not a joke, y'all. This is going to be one of the best teams in the WNBA for years to come, and I cannot wait to see what they do the remainder of the season. There you have it. This was me discussing the success of the Washington Mystics and why they are a dangerous team despite their lack of experience. There you have it, man. This was another episode of ZayMoolah Sports Podcast. Remember, labs good message of what? Make sure you get your daily dose. And I'm in them, and I love y'all. God bless. Peace.